my fellow Trekkies? I'm Stu Jackson here with Hailing Frequencies, and this video is going to be a bit different to the one I was already planning. Now, the more eagle-eyed amongst you may have noticed that my collection behind me has been somewhat tidied up. I've managed to get all the ones that were still boxed into the cabinets. I've rearranged some of the cabinets, and it's looking much tidier as a result. The reason being, I was planning to do a video about my collections. I know that's something that a lot of you have asked for, but something rather special happened this week. The episode titles for Strange New Worlds Season 2 was leaked online. This is 10 episodes. We've got 10 episode titles. So I'm going to be doing a video about those. Now, I have to put out special thanks and recognition to Windgrace, who tagged me in a video that he did about these episode titles. Because, I'll be honest, I wouldn't have known about it if he hadn't done that. So thanks, Windgrace. Really appreciate that. Now, Windgrace himself has put out a video. I'll put a link below so you can go and view that, and I do recommend you do view that because he's had some brilliant thoughts about the episode titles, but I thought I'd come at it from a slightly different angle. I know you really like those batshit crazy theories, so that's what I'm going to be doing with these episode titles. First of all, a warning, red alert. This video may potentially contain spoilers for Strange New Worlds Season 2. Now, we don't have too long to wait before it comes out. Then we'll see how right or wrong or batshit I have been about it all. But in the meantime, just so you're aware, potential spoilers ahead. Now we've got that out of the way. Okay, so the first episode title is The Broken Circle. Now, you'll remember I did a video a short while ago breaking down scene by scene, moment by moment through the trailer of Strange New Worlds Season 2, and we saw a lot of Una in that. Of course, at the end of Season 1, Una was being carted away for her crimes, her alleged crimes. So I think straight away we're going to be heading in, same as we did with Lower Decks when Carol got arrested, and then kind of the next episode on, bang, she was rescued. So I think we're going to be seeing a similar thing here. I think instantly we're going to be addressing this. Now, I do have a bit of a theory that this is going to be a two-part episode. Now, episode 2, I'll give you the title straight away, is, I'm having to look at it, right, so I've got a board written with the names of the episodes right next to me, just so you know, that's why I keep looking away. But episode 2 is the Latin phrase ad astra per asprera. Don't know why I did that with a weird accent. Anyway, ad astra per asprera. Now this means to the stars through difficulties or through troubles. It happens to be the Kansas slogan, motto. I don't know, we don't kind of have those over here in quite the same way with our counties, but I believe the state of Kansas, that's the motto for the state. So I'm wondering if maybe this is going to be a two-parter dealing with the fallout of Una being arrested. The Broken Circle, been a few theories about what that can relate to. I think personally it's about broken trust, a circle of trust that has been broken. You can also look at it because the bridge itself is circular. The crew of the bridge crew themselves have been broken by the absence of Una. There's a few different definitions that you can apply here, but I think we're going to be seeing a two-part episode resolved with Ad Astra per Asprera, and I think the first episode is gonna end on a bit of a cliffhanger. The Broken Circle, yeah, bit of a cliffhanger where Una is shown to have broken the captain's trust. That's my theory on that one. I also think in Ad Astra per Asprera, that's where we're going to get introduced to Pelia, our new chief engineer, being played by Carol Kane. Really looking forward to seeing her in the role. I mean, and Bruce was just brilliant as Hemmer, but yeah, really looking forward to seeing Carol Kane in the role as chief engineer. And maybe she comes from Kansas.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
That could be the connection. Maybe the hearing is held in Kansas. Not entirely sure. Now, so I think the first 2 episodes are going to be quite serious, quite almost dark. Not as dark as we've seen with a lot of other series, and certainly the way Strange New Worlds is going, they're going for a much lighter, much more original series level tone with it all. But a bit of darkness, bit of a heavy sort of episode, more dramatic episode. I think we're seeing that for the first 2. Now, after them, so odd-numbered episodes from there on, so 3, 5, 7, and 9, I think are going to be much, much lighter in tone. Mainly from the titles that I'm getting, but also I think they like to switch it up. A light episode, a heavy episode. A light episode, a heavy episode. And I think that's how they're going to be switching it up with season 2. Because episode 3 is titled Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. Now this is of course taken from Macbeth, Shakespeare's Macbeth, and the soliloquy that Macbeth delivers. In fact, as a special treat, because I am of course a professional actor myself, I've done a little video. Watch this. She should have died hereafter. There would have been time for such a word. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace, from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted falls the way to dusty death. Out, brief candle. Life is but a walking shadow, a poor player who struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. So there we are. My Oscar is in the post, one would hope. But that is the whole monologue for that. Now in there as well is the phrase "all our yesterdays," which was of course the title of an episode, an original series episode from season 3, where Kirk, Spock and McCoy go to a planet. They get transported in time into this planet's history, which is where the inhabitants of the planet have gone to escape a catastrophe that is befalling the planet. So I think this is going to allude to it. I don't think it's going to be the same planet at all or anything like that, but I think this is going to be a time travel episode.
It's more like a big ball of wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
Now, we have seen in the trailer that La'an and Kirk are on what looks very, very much to me, looks like a Gap, but it looks like a 20th century Earth shop, clothing shop. So I think this is where this episode comes in. I think it's those two who get thrown back in time for some reason, some sort of accident, probably, and yeah, we're getting a lighter episode, bit bit of flirting between the two, as we've kind of seen from the trailer as well. So that's what I think episode 3 is going to be. Then episode 4, Among the Lotus Eaters. Now, this is a reference to an old Greek legend where there was an island. The only food source, the only tree on the island was a lotus tree. But here's the thing. The people who ate the lotuses on this island, it had a narcotic effect on them, made them completely apathetic, made them completely give up any ambitions, any desires to do anything except lounge around. So what I think we're going to get here is something in the very traditional style of the original series. So this is a theme we've seen time and again with Star Trek, where technology advances to the point that the people just have nothing to do except relax and perhaps even forget how to manage the equipment themselves. Perhaps even there is a situation whereby the computers or the technology in control is keeping the population sedated in some way. That would definitely tie in with the whole Lotus Eater reference here. Next episode, episode 5, is called Charades, or Charades if you prefer. Now, I think this is going to be, again, one of those more light-hearted episodes. I think simply the Universal Translator is going to break down. This is my prediction for it. Universal Translator, gone, failed. The only way that all these different races on board the Enterprise can communicate with each other is by playing charades, basically. And there'll probably be some sort of emergency taking place to give it all that sense of urgency. But I think we're going to get some silly moments, some silly sort of gestures going on. But that's my prediction for episode 5. Now, I wasn't sure whether or not to apply the same theory for episode 6, because that is called Lost in Translation. So there's a real communication thing going on with both Charades and Lost in Translation. Those two titles do imply a huge amount of communication issues. So Lost in Translation, I think, is more about context, about it's going to be an episode about if you don't interpret things correctly, if you don't see them in context, then it can all go wrong.
Shaka when the walls fell.
But I'm expecting a darker episode. I don't really have much more of a theory on that one than that, I'm afraid. Episode 7 is the one that so many of us Trekkies are going to be looking forward to, because the massive prediction for episode 7 is that this is the Lower Decks crossover episode.
I've dreamed of doing this for so long.
Why? Because it is entitled Those Old Scientists. Now, this has got to be a reference to the Lower Decks episode when Ransom talks about the TOS era.
So it's weird revisiting planets from the TOS era.
TOS?
It's what I call the 2260s. Stands for Those Old Scientists.
So there we go, Those Old Scientists. That is the episode. That's got to be the Lower Decks crossover. I think we're going to see a lot of fun with that. I don't know what to predict. I really don't. We probably already had the time travel episode with Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, but maybe that's wrong. Maybe this one's going to be, but it's got to be a time travel episode of some description, but time travel perhaps for the Cerritos rather than for the Enterprise. Who knows? We're going to have to wait and see, but I'm really excited for it. Episode 8 has certainly got darker themes to it. It is called Under the Cloak of War. Now, there are several species out there that have cloaking technology, but predominantly the Klingons and the Romulans are the two main antagonists with cloaking technologies. We have seen in the trailer, it looked to be very much like a Starfleet base. that Pike was approaching the one bit in the snow, but it looked like Klingons standing guard. So I think this is going to be some sort of prelude to war with the Klingons. We did see quite a few shots, particularly the one with Spock, and he's standing with Klingons and drinking with them. So maybe this is a diplomatic event that goes wrong, or maybe that's the after effect. Maybe war is averted or something like that. But I think this is going to be the Klingon episode, as we can expect. Episode 9 is called Subspace Rhapsody. Now, the only thing I can think of here is that we're going to get a number of sort of snippet moments from different people's lives, perhaps even on different ships, all tied together, but each individual sort of almost think a bit like Data's Day as an episode, but for several different people. Lower Decks did a version. What day? Yeah, something like that. Way Day. Batsh. Anyway, it was a Lower Decks. I can't remember the title of it off the top of my head, but it's the one with Celine where we see the Lower Decks across different ships, and all three of them are all tied together. So we've got the Cerritos Lower Decks, obviously we've got the Klingon Lower Decks, we've got the Vulcan ship Lower Decks with T'Lyn. So yeah, so I think it's going to be something along those sorts of lines. Again, quite a light-hearted episode. And then episode 10, this has got to be the Gorn episode because it is called Hegemony. And we know that the Gorn Alliance, it's not a federation, it's not a dominion, it is the Gorn Hegemony. Is what their alliance, empire, call it what you will. Well, call it a hegemony because that's what it is. So this has definitely got to be our Gorn episode. We saw Gorn in a few scenes in the trailer. We saw their ships. We saw La'an coming face to face with one of them. And we also know that La'an is going to be leaving at the end of Series 2. At least that's the rumour that's gone about. So yeah, I think this is going to be something unpleasant happens to her. Perhaps we'll have to wait and see. Or maybe it just all becomes a bit much for her and she decides to leave Starfleet. I don't want to see her getting eaten by Gorn, to be honest. I like her as a character. She has grown on me. It took a little while. I'll be honest, I felt a little bit shoehorned at first with the whole Noonien Singh connection. I felt that was a little bit stretched, but no, as a character, she's definitely grown on it. And as an actor, she's like absolutely phenomenal anyway. So there we go. Those are my theories for the 10 episodes of Strange New Worlds Season 2. Let me know if you think I'm right or wrong in the comments below. Keep it nice and civil, of course, as always. And really looking forward to the release. And don't worry, I will be doing a video about the collection at some point. But in the meantime, make sure you like and subscribe. Have a peaceful long life. And of course, live long and prosper.